Hello, everyone. My name is Rutuja. I am the co-founder of Viviva Colors. And today I have someone really, really special with me. We have Bethany, who is a fantastic artist, and she specializes in abstract art in particular and floral work, as you can see right in the lovely background that she has. Bethany, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. This is such an honor.
Absolutely. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I can't complain. Um,
Based out of
how are
Carolina,
you?
North.
Yeah, we're in North Carolina. We actually have some wildfires happening nearby us right now. So it's kind of like we're all good, but we're all kind of like a little on edge, but it's all good.
Is it under control or is it still quite bad?
It's still quite bad. It's really smoky outside. And, our area just got hit by Hurricane Helene 6 months ago. And so it's really heartbreaking to see how our community's been impacted. Trying to stay in good spirits, because that's what I do.
I remember the LA one that happened not too long ago, that is still playing on our heads pretty much even now.
Yeah,
Yeah, hoping that the community really comes out of it unscathed as much as
exactly.
possible.
How
Yeah,
are you?
I am doing well. I am based in London. It's spring has sprung here, so cherry blossoms and magnolias all around me. So not complaining,
How
and the weather is
beautiful.
good.
Yeah,
So yeah, all good, all good. Great, Bethany. To start from the very beginning, I would love to know how did you get into the world of art?
sure. Well, I've kind of been like, I guess, crafty my whole life. And then in high school, kind of start thinking about college. And I always wanted to be a teacher. And then I guess I just decided how fun would it be to get to be like an art teacher. And the college that I went to, Brevard College, when you are going through the education program, they have you like pick a major and then do education alongside it. And so I picked art as my major, never taking an art class before. I didn't take art classes in school just because I took band and yearbook instead. I took maybe like a drawing class, when I was younger, but that's it. So I was super excited to like learn everything in art school. I decided I would focus on photography. And as a education person as well, I kind of had to take classes in everything to learn a little bit about all the different arts. So ceramic, sculpture, painting, and I was taking painting at the same time as photography. And I kind of struggled a little bit with my photography classes and being in the dark room. It was very traditional and I don't like the dark. And the paint studio was like bright and light and beautiful. And I was really enjoying it. And so my professors kind of encouraged me to like take the role of painting on. And so I switched my concentration to painting and fell in love. And so I really focused on that and tried to learn as much as I could doing oil painting. And then when I finished college, I had decided, I don't want to stop painting, but I don't have this nice big studio anymore where I can paint really large paintings. So I was like, oh well, I'll paint on a smaller scale and I'll try to figure out how to make prints. So that's really the first thing that I did was I went to a local print shop and I was like, how can I take this little painting and turn it into prints? And kind of went from there and figured out like making a little bit of smaller products so I could ship them and really just figured it out from there.
Uh-huh.
I taught at the Boys and Girls Club. I taught art for 11 years. Well, off and on for 11 years. I taught art there for 6 years. It was my college job and I just kind of let it flow into my adult life as well and fell in love with
Lovely.
teaching art there. But I never taught art traditionally at a public school.
Mhm.
Taught art untraditionally, still with kids, wonderful children. And now, I've turned my art into a business and turned my teaching into books and online courses and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, you mentioned about art licensing when we spoke the last time.
yeah,
So, what kind of got you from, just practicing art for, say, teaching these lovely kids or, for your own consumption to actually taking one step
sure.
further and making a business out of it? How was that journey?
Yeah. Well, I kind of guess it happened a little bit organically. Uh, I guess I started figuring out how to make art prints in 2015, I would say. And I started sharing on Instagram at that time. And, it was kind of like, I don't know, that was a long time ago on Instagram. So it was all pictures, I guess. And so I was sharing pictures of my art every day, maybe not art that I would like to revisit.
We all feel
My
that.
style has changed a lot, but I was sharing on Instagram and just kind of, admiring what people were doing there and why not try? And so I kind of just let it all organically happen through getting into some other maker communities on Instagram and just kind of seeing where it could lead and where it could take me. Especially I was working, part-time as the art teacher, art director at the Boys and Girls Club. So I would say Instagram really, I wouldn't have an art business without it. I started on Etsy, kind of saw that a lot of people were talking about Shopify. And so I was like, well, I need to figure out Shopify. I did take a couple of online classes. There's one by Emily Jeffords that I took. It was like a 6-month online course to really teach you how to do art business. I took it twice. It was really good. Just getting ideas from what artists are doing. It's such a cool time to get to be an artist because there's so many opportunities and so many ways to make connections online. And art licensing happened, I would say, thanks to Instagram as well. I am with an art licensing company, so I'm represented. And they reached out to me and said they had been seeing my work on Instagram, and that was really cool. And they really taught me. They helped me learn the process of scanning my art and making it into a portfolio and coordinating my art into collections. And it's been really cool to see where my art can end up through
Right. That's
licensing
an
and
interesting thing, like you said, right? Because I feel Instagram is like a good give and take. It gives you like a lot of inspiration that, hey, what do I do next? Plus, it also kind of gives you a platform to showcase your art. And like you said, they reached out to you. So
yeah,
it's a good starting point for all artists, I would say. And maybe I could probably add a link of the art course that you did for 6 months, maybe in the description box as well.
sure. I think I think she just started like a new course for the spring, so
Oh,
it was
wonderful.
really inspiring. It helped a lot.
Mhm. Good, good. That's really nice. But do you still feel that, for your personal artwork plus say the art licensing, is your inspiration, does it come from different sources, or do you think the starting point is the same for both?
I mean, I'm really inspired, obviously, by the outdoors and colors and stuff like that. And so I would say, um, are you asking about like my inspiration for licensing and inspiration for?
A licensing versus the art that you probably do for yourself that you just
Eh,
display on.
I think it's probably the same. I think with licensing, I consider a little bit more what other people might consider like trending, or, you think a little bit more about the holidays. And I've really had to train myself to think in that way. Because when I first started licensing, I was like, graduation cards? What? Like Easter
Yeah.
cards? Okay. So I've really tried to stop and consider that and kind of think about how it could translate into my style and my art.
Yeah.
So it has definitely been a learning curve, and I tend to work on my art all in one piece, whereas like I had to learn to because a lot of my pieces have like text on them, and so I've learned to kind of make that piece separate so that the text could be changed if whoever wants to work with that piece in licensing wants it to say something else. Now it's easy to change for me. So I've changed my process to streamline it a little bit better for those changes, and I could even work in layers more. That's something I definitely want to even get better at.
Like like you said, it's not like, you have to completely give up what you like doing or what you like, say, painting, but maybe incorporating a few more things like, oh, it's springtime, so let me do something which is more spring, or so
Exactly.
something which is more close to holiday season, for example. So,
Hmm.
without, really taking, canceling out what you love doing. So
Yeah.
it's a so
Well,
it's
and,
it is
and
it does come in handy at such times to kind of get inspiration for what's trending.
yes, so that I don't know. I guess there's trend reports out. Those are pretty helpful. Just kind of looking at, oh, what's the color of the year this year and try to incorporate that. Although I think this year is maybe brown. Is it
Yeah, I
brown?
think it's choco brown.
Yeah, which is great. I guess I'm not a neutral girly though. So, but just, you take into consideration like what you start to see a lot. Like there's a lot of bows right now in like Hobby Lobby or TJ Maxx where you go shopping. There's everything has little bows on it. And so you just kind of pick up on that type of stuff. I know lemons were a big thing for a while. Maybe they still are. I don't know. But
I completely hear you in that because for Viviva as well, when we have to put out some in-house content, we're also looking for inspiration and ideas in terms of how can we reach a wider audience. And very often we realize that maybe using some songs that are in trend or some music pieces that are in trend on Instagram, they really come in handy
yeah,
for reaching a wider audience. And although
exactly.
you may not like the song or something, you know that it's going to
Yeah.
reach more people. So why not?
Why not? Yeah. Just figure out how it works for you.
Exactly.
Maybe you don't have to go like full in, like to the trend, but a little nod to something is nice.
You can't live under a rock, right? You have to kind of walk hand in hand with the trend sometimes. So
Right.
totally. And talking about social media, I have an interesting question. It's like very often, big brands and individuals such as yourself, who are putting out content every so often on Instagram and YouTube. You have to keep at it for years together. So do you hit a creative block sometime?
Yes.
Do you?
Definitely. I think, sometimes you just want to paint. You don't want to stop and video and do all of the things that Instagram or YouTube is telling you to do. And so sometimes it's nice to just like stop and paint. And a lot of these paintings back here, like they're not on my website yet because I've just been taking some time to like enjoy them and not have to promote them yet. But they're coming soon. But it's exhausting sometimes to create all the content. But also, if you can make it like I've tried to make it like fun for myself, and also take the perspective of, well, maybe this will help brighten someone's day when they see it, and so I can take some time to do that. Like I think if you take the mindset of, well, this could be inspiring to somebody, and then it helps get back into the groove of sharing a lot. But I've definitely gone through phases where like I'm going to share on Instagram every day. And then other times I'm like,
It's
I
exhausting.
just want to enjoy right now.
Like I understand what you mean by like wanting to live in that moment and you don't want to
Yeah.
record yourself every single time you do something, right?
Right.
So do you
So,
think like taking a pause also helps sometimes?
yeah, for sure. Especially like, every artist goes through creative blocks. Every person does too, I'm sure, with whatever creativity you're working on. And so I think it's important to like take a break and, read a book or go to a flower farm or just sit on the porch or something so you can like give yourself the grace of not having to create all the time and then really soaking it up when you do feel like creating and painting and all of that
Makes
stuff
sense,
too.
right? Because these things are also kind of giving you some energy in return. So you've come
Yeah.
back a lot more inspired to do more.
Exactly.
And what you said actually resonated with me. It's like, finally you need to ask yourself, why am I doing this? So one aspect is, of course, to promote your business, but it's also to inspire people. So
Yeah,
that gives you a reason to kind of come back.
exactly. If you can just think about how, even if you don't know the impact of what your art has on somebody, like if you can still think of that, like, well, maybe this will help somebody, or maybe it'll inspire them to start painting or whatever.
100%. And in coming back to art licensing, like the kind of artwork that you do, in what shape and form do people actually buy it in? What do they use it for?
Sure. I mean, I guess I really love surprises, so it's always kind of a surprise because I make my art to be a sticker or an art print or a piece of original art. And then I put some stuff here. So this is a garden flag. So this was originally a greeting card that I made, and then it's got the little tab here. And so that was really cool to see.
Love the colors that are used there. Very, very bright and vibrant.
Yeah, thank you. A lot of like this is a little boxed set of greeting cards, which obviously I make greeting cards too, but these have glitter on them and the envelopes are printed pretty as well. And then, here's a beach bag, which never would have thought, but
This is really nice.
yeah, so it's
This
just
is
like
beautiful.
there's been rugs, there's been fabric. It's just really cool. Like,
Wow, it's quite varied in that sense.
yeah, you never know what your art could end up on in the world of art licensing. It's just kind of out there for people to see, use how they envision it for their products, which is really exciting.
So your artwork doesn't just go on a piece of paper. It can
Exactly.
any shape and form.
Exactly. I mean, when you're out shopping and you think, oh, well, an artist had to be behind this, hopefully. um,
It's a reminder of that, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like somebody thought of that and then it got reimagined into a really cool product that you can use.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
Yeah,
And the last time you and I were talking, you mentioned about micro paintings, and I can see some of those right behind you.
yeah.
I would love to see them if you can show them to our viewers as well. And this is this has got to be my favorite.
They're little canvases and they're just really fun they're really fun to paint and um they prop up nicely on a little shelf and they ship easily. I've done Christmas trees on these little canvases, pumpkins, beach paintings, and right now obviously it's spring
Yeah,
where I'm at. I love flowers.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Whatever the season calls for.
Yeah, it's a small enough space to where you can be like, okay, I could just paint this one thing on this canvas. It'll fill the space up nicely. It's just the perfect little size, and
Super cute.
they're cute.
How long does a typical micro painting take for you?
Well, I typically paint a lot of them at one time. So maybe I'm painting like 10 of them at a time. You can kind of be like, oh, right now I'm working on the background. Right now I'm working on the vase or whatever. Probably each one takes an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours maybe once you've really like put the little tiny details and stuff in. Yeah, I mean they're a labor of love for sure.
They are stunning, and it makes for a beautiful background as well.
Thank you.
But you know what? It's actually interesting because it's a great idea for people who don't have too much time on their hand to
Exactly.
just have a piece ready in an hour or two. You can kind of space it out over a couple of days, and then within a week's time, they have like this beautiful piece of art
Exactly.
that they have created.
And I think, I know not everybody has like a dedicated space to paint, but for me, it's really nice to have multiple paintings in progress at one time. I don't think I ever just have one painting in progress. Like it's always like there's two on my easel right now, there's one on my desk.
Yeah,
And it just helps me personally to bounce in between paintings. Maybe I like the pink that I'm using and it's going to dry up, so I need to find another use for it. So working on multiple paintings at once is
yeah.
definitely like a huge part of my process.
Correct. You also have to be efficient, right? Given that you're doing it at scale often enough, so
Sure. Yeah.
makes complete sense. So, do you have like any tips for our viewers to try their hand at micro painting? What's the starting point?
Well, I mean, I think if you can, first of all, come up with what would inspire you. And then, I use acrylic paints for these so that it does dry pretty quickly. So working in layers are really a big part of my process as well. So, I focus on the background first. So maybe I don't have to think about that as much later. And then really focusing on the composition and which is pretty easy on the little paintings because there's not much space. So you could probably put the bouquet in the center and then go from there. But I always do the background first and then the
Love that.
greenery. Honestly, I do the greenery second. And then I build the vase around that and pop in some little flowers.
Yeah, the detailing happens towards the end.
Yeah, it really just all the little flower details actually happen. They're one of the last things that I do. So
And if you have to sort of replicate something similar for, say, watercolors, then would your
yeah.
process be any different? I mean, of course, there won't be as much layering,
Yeah,
but
definitely. So for watercolors, I think, I don't know, I just kind of I let it happen pretty organically. I would say I probably don't focus on the background first. I probably focus on the background one of the last things, just because you're like able to build up layers in a different way than with acrylics. A lot of times, my process, I use watercolors first if I'm painting on paper. Watercolors first, and then I build up to using acrylic paints for the details at the end. But yeah, actually, I just got this like 30 minutes before we met. It came in the mail,
yeah,
my watercolor pans from Viviva.
happy it reached you on time.
Yeah, yeah. So it was perfect timing to get this new set because my old set was really, really loved. So I'm excited to use these. And I think the packaging changed. Did the packaging change? Look how cute
A
this little.
little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like, added more illustrations. Also, the for our viewers, spring pans. Bethany has her hands on spring pans, Viviva spring pans. So quite in the season, I would say.
Yes.
What do you love the most about? I remember you telling me about your love for spring pans. What do you like about these?
Well, so a lot of watercolors that you get like off of Amazon or something, they're like the pan sets. You really have to like use a lot of water to get the colors out or a lot of layers to really make it vibrant. Obviously, I like vibrant colors. And these are so pigmented that it really doesn't like take much to activate the colors and make them pop. And I've just found some really unique colors. Like this purple is I've never found another purple like it. And
Gorgeous one, isn't it?
this pink I really love. And the greens are really unique. Honestly, I think it's this one maybe. This one is
Hmm.
such a vibrant green. Like it's dark, but not really. Gosh, it's just so beautiful. And this is so lightweight that you can like take it anywhere. I like to paint outside a lot. And so it's just really nice that it's so like easy to just grab and go.
I'm really happy that you love these spring pans.
Yeah, and of course I love the color sheets as well, but I think with my layering process, the color sheets are even more pigmented, which is great, but they show through acrylics because they're so pigmented. So the acrylic paints pick up whatever color from the color sheets, which is cool. It makes a cool effect.
They're very bossy and overpowering. I know the color sheets. So you want something which is a little more toned down.
Yeah, but the color sheets are fun when you're not using acrylics too. And that's just my personal process. But talk about easy to take on the go. Like color sheets, even easier to take on the go because it's just the little pack. I think I've got them right here.
Got one as well.
Yeah. So this is like even easier to take on the go because it's just like a little booklet.
Yeah, it
But
fits right into your
obviously
pocket.
I love them too.
You love the happy yellow. I can see that.
Yes.
Nice. For those who are watching this and people, if you have the spring pans or any of the original pans, you can use them to make beautiful Easter eggs. I think that's one use case
Yeah.
that one of our users recently sent us a video of, and that's so lovely. I tried them myself a couple of days ago, and they're really beautiful. And even for making candles, because the thing with color sheets is they're not light fast, so they don't
Right.
stick as well to things beyond a paper. So with pans people can try using it on eggs or even on wax candles.
How cool. I never even thought about that.
Try it, give it a try. I'm going to try my hand at micro painting sometime this weekend mostly.
Yes. That's so fun. And I love that these color sheets always come with like a fun little like postcard or something to paint on.
Yes, always like can paint something or gift it, post it to a friend, for example.
It's such a fun idea. And then of course, I know a lot of people who get watercolors like to do their little swatches and you've already made it like so easy
Yes, it
to
is
do that.
convenient. Comes in handy actually when you want to try the color before trying it on paper, for example.
Exactly. And you don't have to go and find, scrap paper to do that with.
Now tell me how you
Viviva
came
makes
up
it
with this.
easy. I
Super compact.
love
Great.
it.
I'm really happy to hear that. It's always good to hear like a positive feedback from
Of
our users. So
course.
that makes our day really.
Of course. And I think, I was telling you I saw it last time I was at Michael's, which was super cool. Yeah, it's cool to see how Viviva, because I think maybe I've known about your products and kind of worked as an affiliate with you guys for maybe, I want to say 2 years.
Yeah.
And even since then, like how you guys have, improved your products. Not that they needed improving, but you guys have really grown and pushed your products out there. And it's really fun to see it in the stores and all of that good stuff too.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think it's partially our effort, but mostly I would say it's the community who has written to us, given us a feedback on, hey, this is something that you guys can improve on. And that's what has given us like a reason to want to improve. So I would say the art community is somebody I would like to strongly thank. And I would want everyone to keep the feedback coming. So if you have anything that you want to say about this podcast or, any of our products, please feel free to write to us. So that's
That's awesome.
one message for those who are watching.
That's awesome. It's nice that, you guys actually listen to artists and actually take the feedback to heart and all of that good stuff, which is, probably hard to come by. And you guys are so like approachable and easy to talk to and really working with artists, which is just, that's so awesome.
Thanks for saying that. But the real reason behind doing that is because we are a small brand, number one, and we also don't mass produce things. We just make everything by hand. So it's important to kind of listen to people before you kind of it's not like we're going to make 1,000 color sheets and it's too late to then go back, we kind of list people and then make it in small batches. So it really works better that way for a brand like ours.
That's awesome, and it's so special that it is handmade by I think it's a women-owned business now, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
It's
which is
it's
super
led
cool.
by a team of 5 women, including myself, and the people who work at the factory are again all women. It's a team of 20 lovely women in a small town called Nasik near Mumbai in India. That's where
Wow.
our manufacturing base is set up.
That's awesome, and that's so cool to hear, like, a company, doing that in such a, like, small but impactful way. It's not small anymore, but, like,
Growing,
it
yeah,
yeah.
but a budding company. But talking about art community again, taking a step back, I just wanted to know since you are also like quite active on YouTube and Instagram, what have you sort of picked up from your community? Any
Yeah, I mean,
lessons or yeah,
I just think, like, one of my main things is, like, I want to talk to other people and help other people. I know when I first started my Instagram to have artists who I admired actually, like, respond to my comments or respond to my messages or follow me, like, I remember that feeling being, like, just so cool, and you're, like, so honored that somebody you admire would interact with you. And even if they're, like, far away or whatever, which is so cool that you can make those connections. But now, that I've been on Instagram for a long time, and I don't have a huge following, but, to me, it's huge. Just responding to people is still, like, really important to me, and, if people ask questions, I remember how helpful that was to me, and so to kind of give back in that way or just get to be a part of the community is, like, I don't know, it's such an honor and so inspiring, and so I would just wanna make sure that I'm contributing, in a positive way.
correct. Like I would say big or smaller, there's no fixed number that you can say that this is once you
Right.
reach that number, you say you have a big following or not. At any stage, I think as long as you're inspiring more and more people to kind of
Exactly.
you know get into the world of art, I think you're doing a fabulous job there. I for one is definitely inspired by all your
Thank
work,
you.
especially micro paintings. I'm a big fan of that, and I'm going to definitely give them a try this weekend.
Yay, thank you. Yeah, it's just really cool to get to make those connections and, put yourself out there. It can be a little bit nerve-wracking. I used to be really, really shy, and so I think younger Bethany would be, like, surprised that I show up on the internet how I try to do because that would have been, like, scary. But if you can just kind of just think about it in a different way of, like, connecting with people and inspiring people, I just think
It's worth it.
it's
Yeah.
worth it. Yeah, definitely.
Case in point, this podcast as well. We're doing this, we're putting ourselves out there.
Yeah,
We don't know how people are going to take to this, but, we're giving it a try. And any try is a good try, I would say. So
exactly. And, artists need a good, inspiring podcast to listen to. And it's great that you guys are really trying it and it's gonna be great. And it's just so cool to get to be I think the second guest on your podcast.
it's quite special. And like I said, there's so many beautiful stories like yours, or so
Yeah,
many other journeys that people we speak to. So I just want to make sure that we kind of get it out to people, especially those who follow, our channel. So
exactly.
I would feel that even if you're able to inspire a couple of people, I think it's a job well done.
Exactly. I
Yes,
love
a
that.
small attempt towards that.
Yeah, it's cool that you're able to, like, take the time to give back to the artist community like you already do with your art supplies, but you guys take the inspiration part more, like, further than I think a lot of people do because you even, like, include the incense in some of your packs and the, like, stickers that are inspiring and stuff like that, and just this podcast and YouTube add to that, which is really I love that because I love all the encouragement and stuff, so that's really cool.
It's important to show people that we are right here and we care,
Yeah.
and we are here to listen to them if they want to talk to us or share their journeys with us. So we're always here, and I'm so thankful for you for making this time today.
Thank you. Yeah, of
Any
course, I
more
wouldn't
questions
miss
you
it.
have for me regarding Viviva or anything else? Just let
Yeah,
me
I
know.
mean, I think it was interesting to hear a little bit about your art that you like to create. I think you said you like acrylics when we
Yes.
spoke last.
Yes, I think it depends on what I'm planning to paint. So if I'm
Exactly.
very clear in my head as to what I want to paint, I would stick to watercolors because I find them more fun and very vibrant.
They are.
If I'm trying something new and I know I'm gonna like, screw it up at different points, I would prefer acrylics because then I know that I can paint right on top of it. It's a lot more forgiving and art, medium. So then I would use
Nice.
acrylics. So it really depends. But I would say I like both equally.
Yeah, I think so too. I think acrylics are like my first love of painting is like they're so easy and forgiving, like you said, to work with. But watercolors, I think, I don't have any formal training in watercolors like I did in oils and acrylics. And so it's been really fun to like actually get to like experiment and play. And so I think that that's kind of how I think of watercolors is just my like, this is my playtime. I get to, because you don't know exactly how it's going to turn out. But
It's a surprise.
yeah, it's really cool, and so, obviously, I love acrylics. I've got a book about painting flowers with acrylics, but watercolors are just a different kind of, like, special and inspiration.
I think with watercolors, it's more like you have to trust the process. Because
Mhm.
initially you feel like, hey, no, I don't think I'm doing a good job. But until you finish the painting, you don't really get to see it in its full form.
Right.
So with watercolors, I would say just trust the process, finish what you've starting, and then, it'll turn out to be something really amazing and exciting.
Yes, exactly. I would agree completely.
Thank you so much once again, Bethany,
Of
for
course,
doing
thanks for
this
having me.
podcast with me. And this has been lovely, very inspiring.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
So we'll put all the details of, where to find you, your Instagram link and your website and all those details, as well as Viviva's on our description, as well as on your channel. And people can have a look at both the websites.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you.
This has been great. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Bye bye.